The capsule goes down easy enough, twice a day, just like the bottle says. 6 weeks now. But your numbers have barely moved. Your energy still dips after lunch. You are wondering if this one works for everyone except you. Here is what nobody told you. Your body can barely absorb this compound. Less than 1% reaches your bloodstream. So the question is not, does it work? It is how. Researchers found this compound is being converted into a different molecule before it enters your blood. That conversion is happening inside your gut bacteria. When they measured the converted form, absorption jumped nearly 5-fold. In this video, I will show you why this supplement barely enters your bloodstream, what your gut bacteria are doing with it, and why one enzyme in your mitochondria explains the rest, including a timing mistake that shuts the whole process down. If you're new here, welcome to Yellowhead Science, where we break down real health and lifestyle science in a way that actually makes sense. Join us. Hit subscribe and tap the bell so you never miss a video. The compound is berberine. It is a bright yellow alkaloid extracted from plants like golden seal, barberry, and Oregon grapefruit. Traditional Chinese and Ayurvedic practitioners have used it for centuries, primarily for gut infections and inflammation. Recently, it went viral as what people started calling nature's version of a popular injectable weight loss drug. That comparison is pharmacologically wrong, and I will explain why in a moment. But the attention did something useful. It pushed researchers to look harder at what berberine actually does. And what they found is genuinely strange. When researchers pooled the results from multiple randomized placebo-controlled trials, they measured significant reductions in triglycerides, fasting blood glucose, LDL cholesterol, and waist circumference. The waist circumference result was especially clean, consistent reduction with essentially zero statistical noise across studies. But here is the paradox. When scientists measure how much berberine actually makes it from your gut into your bloodstream, the number is almost nothing. The vast majority of what you swallow never reaches your circulation. In humans, blood concentrations after a standard dose are vanishingly small. This is a compound that clearly produces measurable metabolic changes, in trial after trial, yet almost none of it enters your blood. Something else has to be going on. The answer came from an unexpected place. Researchers discovered that gut bacteria contain an enzyme called nitroreductase. That enzyme takes berberine, the form you swallow, and converts it into a different molecule called dihydroberberine. And dihydroberberine is absorbed at 5 times the rate of the original compound. Think about that for a moment. The supplement you swallow is not the supplement that works. Your gut bacteria are chemically remodeling the molecule, manufacturing the active version for you before it ever touches your bloodstream. When researchers gave antibiotics to mice, wiping out large portions of their gut bacteria, berberine's effectiveness dropped. The conversion slowed dramatically. Blood levels fell. The compound simply stopped performing. This means berberine is not just a supplement. It is a partnership between a plant compound and the organisms living inside you. And the relationship goes both directions. Berberine does not just depend on your gut bacteria, it also feeds them. It increases populations of short-chain fatty acid-producing bacteria, organisms like Akkermansia, Roseburia, and Faecalibacterium that are associated with lower inflammation and better metabolic health. It reduces populations of opportunistic bacteria like Prevotella and Proteus. So the compound that needs your gut bacteria to work also makes your gut bacteria stronger. It is a feedback loop. And those short-chain fatty acids, especially one called butyrate, do not just stay in the gut. They enter the bloodstream and start signaling. Butyrate reduces inflammation in the liver. It supports the intestinal barrier that keeps toxins from leaking into circulation. And here's the surprising part. Butyrate also stimulates the release of GLP-1, the very hormone that the injectable weight loss drug activates directly. Berberine does not work through GLP-1 receptors the way that drug does. But through its effects on your gut bacteria, it nudges the same hormonal pathway from the other direction. Nobody calling it nature's version of that drug understood this. The connection is real, but it is indirect, slower, and mediated entirely by your microbiome. But gut conversion only explains how berberine gets into your system. It does not explain what it does once it arrives. For that, you need to understand a single enzyme inside your mitochondria called adenosine monophosphate activated protein kinase, or AMPK for short. Think of AMPK as your body's fuel gauge. When energy is low, AMPK activates. When it activates, it triggers a cascade: increased fat burning, reduced fat storage, improved insulin sensitivity, suppressed inflammation, and enhanced cellular cleanup through a process called autophagy, your body's system for recycling damaged components. Berberine activates AMPK by doing something specific. It partially inhibits complex 1 of the mitochondrial respiratory chain, the same entry point that the prescription drug metformin targets. That inhibition slightly reduces how much energy currency your mitochondria produce in the moment, which raises a ratio inside the cell that AMPK monitors. AMPK reads that shift as a signal to switch into conservation mode. Burn stored fuel, improve efficiency, clean house. This is why the comparison to that injectable weight loss drug is wrong. That drug works through GLP-1 receptors, a completely different system that regulates appetite and gastric emptying. Berberine does not touch GLP-1 receptors. It works through AMPK. Different pathway, different mechanism, different results. The average weight loss from berberine in clinical trials is modest, a few pounds over months. It is not a weight loss drug. It is a metabolic support compound that happens to have downstream effects on body composition. Here is where the biology gets personal. AMPK activity does not stay constant throughout your life. As the body ages, AMPK responsiveness declines. The sensor becomes less sensitive, the cascade fires less reliably, and the downstream consequences accumulate. More oxidative stress, less autophagy, more inflammation, less efficient fat metabolism. This is not a disease. It is a gradual dimming of a system your body relied on to stay balanced. In aging rats, berberine reactivated AMPK and also turned on 2 downstream targets: SIRT1, a longevity-associated protein, and PGC1 alpha, which drives new mitochondria production. The animals showed improvements in both cognitive function and muscular performance, 2 systems that degrade in parallel as metabolic sensing weakens. And remember the gut bacteria connection. Gut microbiome diversity also declines with age. If the bacteria responsible for converting berberine into its active form are diminished, the compound may simply pass through without doing its job. This could explain why berberine seems to work better for some people than others, and why gut health may need to be addressed before berberine can do what the trials say it should. Now I need to be straight with you about the evidence. When researchers examined the full body of berberine research, dozens of systematic reviews, the majority were rated critically low quality by standard assessment criteria. Most trials are small. Most come from a single country. Long-term safety data beyond 6 to 12 months barely exists. The results are promising, but this is not gold standard evidence yet. Berberine is not a proven medical treatment. It is not regulated by the FDA. And if you are on any medication, especially metformin, statins, blood thinners, or blood pressure drugs, you need to talk to your doctor before adding it. Berberine affects liver enzymes that process those medications, and the interactions are real. This is also why I want to be clear about the weight loss question. The average weight loss from berberine across clinical trials is modest. If someone told you this was going to replace a prescription medication, they overpromised. What berberine does well is support metabolic pathways, blood sugar regulation, lipid management, gut bacteria composition. That is valuable, but it is not the same as dramatic weight loss. If you and your healthcare provider decide berberine makes sense for you, here is what the research supports. Start low. 250 milligrams once or twice a day for the first week. Your digestive system needs time to adjust. Most side effects, nausea, cramping, changes in bowel patterns, happen when people jump straight to full dose. By week 2, increase to twice daily dosing. By week 3, if you tolerate it well and your system adapts, reach the maximum frequency with 3 doses daily. This gives your gut bacteria and AMPK pathway consistent stimulus throughout your day. But here is the thing the meta-analysis found. For triglyceride reduction, 1 gram a day or less actually outperformed the higher dose. More is not automatically better. Timing matters. Take each dose 15 to 30 minutes before a meal. Berberine's half-life is short. It clears your system in hours. Spreading doses across the day maintains steadier levels. And avoid taking high-dose antioxidant supplements like vitamin C or vitamin E above 500 milligrams at the same time. There is evidence they can blunt AMPK activation. Keep a 2-hour window. The piece most people miss is gut preparation. If berberine depends on your gut bacteria to become active, it makes sense to support those bacteria. Fermented foods, yogurt, kimchi, sauerkraut, feed the organisms that do the conversion. Prebiotic fiber from vegetables gives them fuel. If you have recently taken antibiotics or your digestion has been off, consider whether your gut environment is ready for berberine to work as intended. One more thing. If you are sitting across from your doctor and your blood work comes back with elevated fasting glucose or borderline cholesterol, and you want to explore berberine, bring this conversation to them. Show them the meta-analysis data. Ask whether it makes sense alongside whatever else you are doing. That conversation matters more than any supplement bottle. Measurable changes in blood sugar and cholesterol typically appear after 8 to 12 weeks of consistent use. If nothing has shifted by week 12, the answer is probably not to increase the dose. It may be to look at what is happening in your gut. If this changed how you think about berberine, leave a comment and tell me. Have you tried it? And did you notice a difference? I love reading every single one. And if you want more science-backed health lifestyle strategies designed for someone just like you, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next one. I'll see you in the next video.